So Johnson & Johnson are going to start testing their COVID vaccine on children and also on pregnant women. I hope I'm not the only one who can see a problem here. Now I know that Johnson & Johnson is not the first big pharma company testing these so-called vaccines on children. Forgive me if I'm mistaken here, but no, I can't actually remember which of the other manufacturers of these so-called vaccines have already tested on children. I'm not sure. Maybe you can inform us in the comments. But anyway, Johnson & Johnson, they're going to start testing this on children. Children can't consent. You know, there's a reason why we do not hold children fully responsible for their actions. Because they are children. And you know, it's like every ethical standard has just been thrown away, and these big pharma companies, now they can do whatever they want. I am truly disgusted by this. And this is a huge problem. And I would actually say that if you don't speak up against this, you are actually part of the problem here, because we need to say something when they are testing vaccines on children, because that's not right. Testing this on children and pregnant women, you know, it's sick. It is truly sick. And I would like to actually have a word or two with the parents of these children, because something is clearly wrong with those parents. Now, there are, generally speaking, when it comes to experimental treatments, there are cases where the condition of the patient is critical and you don't really have a choice, or the other choice is death, you know, and so that's different, of course. But in these cases, we're not talking about that. So again, you know, it's disgusting. Now, pregnant women, that's a whole different, not a whole different discussion, but it's a it kind of falls into the category. I'm going to wait here a while. Look at the camera, because this is important. If you ask me, I think that in my part of the world, you know, the Western world, so-called civilized world, pregnancy is not respected, and childbearing, I think the term is, it's not been valued for decades, which is a problem in itself. So that pregnant women are, I don't know how they get hold of these women, but it's truly sick. And I think these women, these pregnant women, they must think in their minds that they are doing something good for their children, or their unborn children, or money. So I would like to see also how much these people are being paid to be part of these experiments, because that's what it is, you know. So when they're letting big pharma experiment on their children and their unborn children, how much are they paid? I don't know if they are paid anything at all. I don't know. And it's probably very difficult to find out, actually. So, but they could be also, you know, thinking that, well, we're doing, this is awesome, that we get to do this for our children, and our children become heroes in the fight against the pandemic. No, it's sick. It's sick. And even if you so far have been very positive towards big pharma and these rushed through vaccines and all that, I don't like to use the word vaccines, because they are not. We're talking about several, you know, a handful of very different technologies that are being looked at as it's a COVID vaccine, but in reality, you know, a DNA vaccine and an mRNA vaccine, those two work in very different ways, you know, so we shouldn't compare them. But even if you have been so far a big fan of big pharma, what they are doing, and how they are helping us fight the pandemic, you know, at least now when they are testing this on children, now you should stop for a few seconds and think for yourself, you know, what's this now? This is not right. They shouldn't do that. We are likely going to see some dramatic changes, overnight changes almost, towards an even more totalitarian society during the next few months. So try to think ahead. Try to keep 2 steps ahead of what's going on here, okay? Because they are eating away on our basic freedoms and ethical standards. Look back in history, please. What happens when you do that? What happens? What follows? Just please, I can't say this on YouTube, but please, what follows?